What's up everyone, V here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Marvel Legends Spider-Man from Spider-Man No Way Home. Yep, Spider-Man. Just Spider-Man. No The Amazing, no Friendly Neighborhood, no Spectacular, no Ultimate, just straight up, unfiltered Spider-Man. Because of course, this is Peter 1, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, as he appears in that gorgeous suit he wears at the end of the movie, which I think some people have dubbed the final swing suit because it's the suit he wears in the final swing of the movie. Um, no, it's not really that complex. It's just more like classic look. Yeah, this would probably be the most classic look Tom Holland has because the Stark Tech suit had all the black lines in it. But yes, this is just straight up pure unfiltered comic-y Tom Holland Spider-Man. And like always, I'm gonna dive in a bit on my opinions on the source material. I've already explained No Way Home. I love it so much. It's my favorite Spider-Man movie. It brought me so much joy. I don't care if there's dodgy CGI. I don't care that it relies on a fan service and nostalgia. I don't care if it's not the most well written. I love it so much. It brings me joy. It makes me feel warm inside. Makes my heart feel happy, and I love it. It's my favorite Spider-Man movie. I don't care. I love it so much. And Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man. Um, Garth, my boy Garth was my favorite, and I still love him for a while. But man, Tom Holland just does it perfectly. He does the loser, nerdy Peter Parker and the jokey, quippy Spider-Man both really well. I feel like everyone says it. Tobey's great Peter, not as great Spidey. Andrew's great Spidey, not as great Peter, and Tom Holland's the mix of both. And it's true, he really is, and I love him so much. Even though I do have more of a connection to Andrew, because I grew up with Andrew, I can't deny I think Tom Holland is perfect as Spider-Man, and I cannot wait till Spider-Man 4. They better not change the suit unless it's to the Venom suit. But yeah, and the suit it's my second favorite live action Spidey suit next to, of course, Garth's suit, because you just cannot beat that. That is just peak Spidey suit. And I only have one slight, kind of two slight complaints that are just nitpicky about this design, but rather than that, it's perfect. It's perfect. I love it so much. Wish I could say the same about this figure, because just to give you a little hint as to what it is, if you watched my Tobey review, go check that one out. It's a bit long, but I'm gonna try to make sure this one isn't as long. I started rambling because there's a reason why I was rambling in that review. And it's probably the reason why I might be rambling a bit in this review, because this guy, hands down, might be the most QC-issued figure I've ever owned from Marvel Legends. That will just give you a bit of a taste as to what you should be expecting in this review, but like always, because, I don't know, why not, right? We'll take a look at the packaging. This is, of course, the carded series, because they don't like giving Spider-Man regular packaging. It's kind of cool. It's hard to display. And I hate... They did it with Spider-Verse, where it's just one packaging. This is the same design that's on MJ, Sandman. Not Garfield for some reason. Just a gnat flying around. Stupid bug. Shouldn't you be dead? It's the winner. I mean, technically. Is it the winner? Not yet. Not yet. It's about to be winter, though. It's dead now. Anyway, yeah, it's just the same design. Granted, it's a cool design. It's just, I wish some of them had personalized artwork like normal Marvel Legends boxes. It's the one downside to these carded figures with Spider-Verse as well. It'll have a cool shot, but you better enjoy it, because there's not any other shot of, like, this suit. But granted, it's a gorgeous shot of the three Spideys right here. Like, come on, that is beautiful. I believe it's the same as the 3-pack, which, a fun fact, first No Way Home wave review that isn't technically a figure I've already reviewed. But yeah, looks gorgeous. No new suit, but hey, Marvel Legends, Spider-Man, Hasbro, warning, Spidey, some lightning. Whoa, Spider-Man logo, just now noticed that. Spider-Man No Way Home, 4+. If you're a 3-year-old, don't touch this. Also, if you're a 4-year-old, probably shouldn't be buying this because, yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. On the back, you got that shot, which is just, that'd be an awesome poster to have in your room. Like, look at that. That's so cool. Love it so much. Spider-Man is Peter Parker. Our friendly neighborhood web slinger is unmasked. No longer able to separate his life as a high schooler from the high-stakes world of being a superhero. Oh my god. That will have so much bearing on the plot. Man, that's just a little bit dent there. But yeah, it's a card. I don't care. What we care about here are the figures. It's the only reason why we're buying them, right? And this is an interesting one. This is definitely he's a little, he a silly little guy, isn't he? On him right now is a fist, the right fist, totally no, right and left, and the left thwip hand. That's how I have it on all my Spideys. I put these two hands on, and yeah, that's it. No other hand touches them. But he does come with other hands if you are so inclined to want to pose him more than me. Of course, he comes with the alternate fist and thwip, and praying I can get this in focus. Looks great. Got the nice black outlining with the nice texture. Which is one thing I will say. They finally gave a Tom Holland figure outlining. They really don't like to give his figures outlining, which I guess makes sense because his webbing is red, but I think it might, I don't know if this one's red or not. But yeah, and it has the nice texture. Another thing they kind of just stopped wanting to do for Spidey figures from Tom Holland is give them texture. And he has, oh my god, wall crawling hands. In a single normal release Spidey? Insane. Yeah, they gave a movie Spider-Man wall crawling hands. That's like such a rare thing. But hey, it's cool. Not my forte, because like I said, I pop these two hands on and that's it. But if you're someone who loves to pose their figures with different hands, it's a steal. And of course, he comes with, I believe this is like the 20th time we've gotten this, but it's Tom Holland's severed head. I believe this one came in the black and red No Way Home release. The Iron Spider release. I believe that was the first sighting of it, was the Iron Man and Iron Spider 2-pack. And it's also in the Peter Parker figure. Ooh, I might review that set. Depends. And yeah, I own like 3 of this head. But it looks good, although I will say it does look a bit too young. It looks like Homecoming, Civil War age Tom Holland. He looks a little too young, but I guess it matches like the teenager vibe and not like 25-year-old Tom Holland. And of course, you can pop the head off, pop this on, and I will say you can definitely tell it was made for another body originally because it does not look down. This is as far as it looks down. That's not even in focus. It does not look down at all. So if you want it looking down more, too bad. But yeah, it looks good. Kinda, I don't know, from this angle it looks like it's sitting high on the neck, but it really doesn't look like that in person. Does it? No, it looks good in person. I don't know why. Maybe because my camera is not at the best angle. Yeah, it looks way better than the camera's letting on. But yeah, he looks a tad bit too young for this era of Spidey, but that's all right. And yeah, I'd compare him to the other Spideys unmasked, but Toby doesn't have his unmasked head on, so you're just gonna have to watch one of the previous reviews for that. We're gonna pop that off because we're here for the masked Spidey. And yeah, let's get into the figure because there's a lot to talk about. Remember just mere minutes ago when I mentioned the QC issues with this figure? Yeah, I mean, if you're in the Marvel Legends community in any way, you've probably heard at least one thing about this guy, and it's the main problem that I had with the Toby figure, which is the legs. Although the other one hasn't broke yet, let me grab it real quick. I do own 2 of this figure because I put him on the shelf, so I don't want to break him, but for somehow he has, because he has the drop down hips for extra articulation. And when I mean extra articulation, I mean it adds absolutely nothing to the figure. And let's just look in there real quick. You see that little thingy here where it's like split? So half the peg is attached to one of those sides on both sides, except it's really thin. And when you'd move the leg, it wouldn't rotate on the ball. It would twist that peg. And yeah, I don't think I need to explain what happens when you twist thin plastic around multiple times. It goes. And that's what happened with my Toby. I don't know where the leg is anymore, but his leg completely snapped off. His leg is about to go. This one right here. I've tried gluing it. It made it worse. So I just had to end up buying a new one. And I looked on the interwebs and asked the Marvel Legends subreddit. Thank you. Even though the mods took the post down, because, Reddit mods try not to be trash challenge impossible. I made that exact same remark in the Toby review, but I don't care. I'm saying it again. They're trash. Receipt just right next to my leg for some reason. And they gave me great tips on how to fix it. So I'm going to give you those tips, hopefully faster than the Toby review. So what you want to do is get a pot of water, put it on the stove, crank it. I'll put it halfway. Don't put it on high. Put it halfway. Let that water simmer. Oh, that's just a dent in the desk. I thought it was dust. Is that dust? Oh no, that's another dent in the desk. Desk. It's a really small bedside table that I record on. My recording setup's amazing. This top tier YouTube reviews right here. Anyway, you let that simmer. Once it starts to get a little boily, I would say once there's bubbles, but not like when it's like, you dump it into a bowl or a cup. I used a bowl because I had to put Toby and Tom in at the same time. Had them chillaxing. Follow me on Instagram, MoonKnightXO, plug. I posted on my story my step-by-step. You slide them in there. Make sure the crotch, though, is in the water, because, like, for the first minute I had him in the water was up to here, and I was like, that's not really going to help. You have him sit in there, I'd say, like, a minute or two. Take him out. Start articulating the legs. Get the joints working. And it did work, but I was scared it might not work permanently once the water, like, dried and the figure cooled down. So, another thing I saw from someone to make sure it's permanent is you lube them things up. So I took WD-40, I believe that's what it's called. Opened his legs, sprayed them things, articulated them again. They were super loose. And yeah, as you can see, I'm articulating him just fine. Nothing's getting broken. And if you do that with the lube, he will be a little leaky. Especially for Toby, I had to, like, keep a paper towel with him. And after you do it, wash him, of course. And you're probably going to have to grab a paper towel and just articulate him and maybe wipe him down for a little bit. But after, like, a day, it should be fine. And that's how I fixed the leg problem. But there's another problem, and I don't know how to fix it beyond heating it up, but I don't know. And that's the shoulders. I personally have, thankfully, not had this problem, but a lot of people have been reporting this joint right here snapping right off, because this shoulder joint is extremely stiff, and that's really thin, and also just sounding A lot of really tight joints on this figure, and a lot of joint problems. I don't exactly know how to fix this one. Maybe lube it up again? Maybe it could be literally the exact same thing you do with the legs. Dip them in warm water, lube them up, and it might be good. I haven't tested it. I might. You can do that on your own if you'd like. I just want to warn you because there's a lot of problems, which breaks my heart. Because ignoring all of those problems is my favorite Spider-Man figure I own. It's so hard. It's heartbreaking when there's just a figure that looks absolutely gorgeous and ticks all the boxes. There's just one huge issue, and he just doesn't like to keep his limbs on himself. But ignoring that, I love this figure so much. It's so amazing. It's my favorite Spider-Man. I think. Amazing Fantasy might be slightly beating it, but it looks so good. It does everything I've wanted a Tom Holland Spider-Man to do. Give him texture, sculpt the webbing, although it's not insanely raised. It's still there, and they did paint all the webbing, which it didn't really bother me too much on some of the previous iterations, because if you watch the movies and look closely, his webbing's actually a dark red, not black. Although I don't know, I think this one's suits might be black, I'm not sure. But it is cool to get a Tom Holland one that isn't just this. And it makes the details stand out more, which I love. And speaking of details, let's get into it. Because I also love this masked head sculpt. They sculpted a Tom Holland masked head good. It's not super thin like some of them. Like this one's wide enough. They get weirdly thin. He looks like he's going and this one just looks like he wants to murder you and your family. And again, is not really the right head proportions. But this one nailed the head proportions perfectly. The little round boy head. And he doesn't look like he wants to just kill everyone in his sights. And it looks so good. The eyes do have a bit of a pearlescent look akin to the Garf figure, but not as noticeable though, because his eyes, of course, are smaller. They got that beautiful black webbing. Some people have complained it's a bit too thick, but I honestly like the thicker looking webbing. It does make the Spidey logo on the chest not stand out as much, but I still love it. And one of the two nitpicks on the design, I hate how it goes bam, bam, bam. Wish it just went bam, bam, straight down instead of going out. It's not too noticeable on this one, but when you look at the Hot Toys, it's just like, that feels unnecessary. Just have it go straight down. It would have looked so much cooler. If they were to change a detail, that's what I'd like them to change. But oh, just look at that. Look at that beautiful texture too. Like, you can hear it. I love figures with texture. It's so cool. It adds so much more like to the figure, especially designs like this where it's a classic Spidey design. There's not a whole lot going on. So when they add the different textures, it makes it stand out a lot more. And they didn't do that on the Far From Home / No Way Home figure. It's just completely smooth. And I know they're toys, but it gives it way more of a toy-y look and feel. And this texture just elevates it a bit, in my opinion. It looks really good. And look at that. Classic Spidey looking arms on Tom Holland without all the black lines. Let's go. Looks so good. And carefully moving the arm so you can see it. And he does have the metallic blue throughout. It's not as metallic-y as I think it should, but I think it does what it needs. I do like the metallic blue. I think it's really cool and unique. And kind of complements Andrew's metallic red. And this is the only other thing I'd complain about, and I hope they change. I wish he had the classic back Spidey logo. For some reason, they just don't want to give live-action Spider-Man that classic back spider. They only did it on the Stark suit. And I'm like, do it. Why? Why not? Just give him that design. Besides that, this suit would have been perfect. Because it's just the front symbol again on the back. Now, it's not a bad symbol, and I like the inspiration from Garfield and Tobey Maguire's Spidey logos. But also, like, come on, man. It could have been such a perfect classic comic design. I don't get why they don't like doing that. But yeah, looks really great. Then down to the legs. Not a whole much going on here, but bottom of the legs looks great. More of that beautiful texture and black outlining. And the outlining is really solid, mostly because it's not really insanely raised. It's just ever so slightly raised. So if they do miss it a bit, it's not as bad. Articulation-wise, be afraid to articulate some of the parts on this guy, but he does have a dumbbell joint which looks up that far and looks down that far, rotates and bobs, and I say this every time, but Spider-Man related characters and flying characters, anyone who has to lift their head up, stop giving them dumbbell joints, give them a ball hinge. A ball hinge will look up so much better and so much more naturally than a dumbbell joint. I'm so glad they gave that to Amazing Fantasy, because he looks up so perfectly. Now, the arms, you can rotate it all the way around and hinge it out about that far. I will say, if you want to articulate it, hold on to the shoulder. Don't be going like, whoo, because yeah, that will definitely break it. I've only had 2, I believe, figures break. It was the first movie Ant-Man figure and the Ultimate Spider-Man figure. I think both the same arm. So yeah, I'm gonna be careful with this one. It does have a butterfly joint, and like most butterfly joints, they don't really articulate the greatest. But I guess it gives that ever so slight extra articulation. Also helps, for some reason this arm doesn't like go all the way down, so I have to rotate it back, push it down all the way, and then rotate it, which is weird. Bicep swivel. It's terrifying. Really stiff elbow joint. That scares me. Articulating this guy scares me, which sucks because he looks so cool. And they did paint over the elbow with that, real nice. Hinge in and out and rotation on all the hands. And like I said, if you want to bring it in, at least on this arm for me, I have to go like that. So yeah, the butterfly joint is useful. He has the diaphragm and ab crunch, which arches kind of well back. And not... Actually, no, it's pretty decent forward. And you got the Tom Holland cake, which kind of bodacious. I mean, if you've seen them behind the scenes photos, you know he's definitely not the one with the fake butt, because he packing cake back there. We've all seen the meme. Don't lie to yourself. You've seen it too. Legs kick that far forward, not really back at all because of that Holland cake back there, but he can do the splits, and every time with the what's the word I'm looking for? The drop down hips, when you bring them back in, you want to push it up and then bring it in because it drops down when you do the splits. Thigh rotation, everything on this guy's stiff. Knee joint, it's just, maybe if you just lubed up every joint, he would be good. Then hinge up and down and rocker. The one hinge that isn't tight is the ankle, which is nice. So yeah, a gorgeous looking figure. The silhouette is perfect too, because some of them, like I say him, don't have the best proportions for Tom Holland. I mean, these aren't bad, he's not disproportionate, I just don't think he's proportionate to how Tom Holland looks. But I feel like this does capture Tom Holland's look. Maybe a bit too thin in the arms, but still really solid. And he looks gorgeous. Like, despite all the figure's flaws, it looks great. And the spider logo is also carries underneath there if you articulate it, which is nice. Along with all the webbing and stuff, of course. So yeah, almost at articulation time. Comparison time. You already know. It's the average comparisons. Here he is next to Moon Knight. Nice scaling. These are two characters I'd love to see. And kind of spoiling another comparison, but this is a trio I'd love to see. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Here he is compared to a average Voyager class Transformer and an average Black Series. Here he is next to Optimus Prime from Rise of the Beast and the deformed QC problem because he has two left hands. Plain white Phase 2 Clone Trooper. 4 o'clock in the morning. That's when I'm recording this. And here he is next to a more 7-inch scale. What? Here. Now for a more 7-inch scale figure comparison. Is that what I'm trying to say? I don't know. It's late, like I said. Here he is next to the McFarlane DC and the Jazzwares Halo, Black Manta, and Halo 3 Master Chief. As you can tell, he is very much not in scale with these two figures. And my mind is withering away. And for some Spidey comparisons, here he is next to the boys, the Spideys, the three amigos, the greatest thing my eyes ever witnessed. They look so great together, even though they didn't appear like this. Still really wish we could have gotten Holland in a red and blue classic suit with the rest of them, but hey, this looks great. This looks phenomenal. And I love how, like, at the base level, they're all three the exact same Spidey design, but yet they all do it so differently. It's crazy how you can just take the exact same design for all three and just change it in such a unique way from all the others where none of them even look similar, yet they look exactly the same at the same time. If that makes any sense, or am I just going mentally insane? And here he is next to the other No Way Home figures. Here he is next to the Walmart exclusive red and black suit, and here he is next to that 3-pack, hell is that suit's name? Integrated suit figure. And this was my favorite Tom Holland figure until this one. Again, despite the QC issues, I still love the figure. I saw the Hot Toys of this figure the other day. Oh my god. I almost bought it. But I bought something else, and which you may or may not see. You'll definitely see in the top 10 figures of the year, but just to give a little hint. Oh. Yeah, I like spending money. Anyway, for more comparisons, here he is next to the Green Goblin. Willem Dafoe himself, the man who he appeared in a random universe, had no idea what he was doing, and was just like, I'm just gonna torment another Peter Parker's life, because that's what I like to do. And oddly gave Tom Holland's Spidey more trauma than he ever gave Tobey, I'd honestly say. But yeah, now time for some more fun comparisons. Here he is next to himself, Peter Parker. Glad they're the same height. It'd been awkward if one was just way taller. And here he is next to his bestest friends in the world and his girlfriend, well, not girlfriend anymore, MJ, and the CEO of sex himself, Ned. They look great together. This is a great trio. They sadly don't remember a lick about him, but man, part of me does want to see this trio again in the future, but also would kind of sour the ending. But yeah. And for fun, here he is next to two of the greatest lawyers to ever walk this world. The Daredevil figure, great find I got. I might do a video about him and Kingpin later on. And here he is next to the greatest lawyer to ever walk the face of the earth, Saul Goodman. Yeah, there's a custom video I'm working on, and he's going to be in it. I didn't make this. Way, way better than anything I could do. But I am planning a custom figure video in the future once I finish some of them. And he's definitely, I'm going to go into more detail on him. But yeah, that's about it. Do I recommend this guy? If you want just a Spidey figure or Tom Holland figure, they just want to be able to take out the box and play with, pose, this ain't it. This one ain't it. But if you're willing to put in the effort to do all the heating up and lubing up, then I'd say he's kind of worth it. Again, I haven't tried the arms, so lubing probably the shoulders and maybe the biceps a bit could help. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But possibly doing all that to the figure, you could, in the end, have a phenomenal figure. But as it stands, he's a cool figure, and I do like him, but man, those QC issues really hold him back. And hopefully, Hasbro tweaks the problems with this figure, re-releases it, or releases a new version of this figure, maybe when Spider-Man 4 comes out, or just in the future, and fixes all of the problems. Because usually Hasbro hits. Usually they don't have awful problems with the figures, and yet he has it, which is really odd. But yeah, hopefully they do some sort of tweaking in the future. But as it stands, I don't know if I'd fully recommend it unless you're willing to do all of that fixing. As it stands, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10 because the sculpt is phenomenal. And the articulation, ignoring all the problems with it, he does articulate really well. It's just those QC issues really hold him back. And I said I wouldn't drag this video out long as hell, and here I am, dragging it out long as hell. Hopefully the next video, which should be Green Goblin, won't be too long. Who am I kidding? That's going to be long as well. But yeah, that's about it. Like, subscribe, check out my previous reviews. A lot of Spidey stuff. A lot more Spidey stuff to come. I know I've kind of been, like, dropping a video and then disappearing for, like, 2 weeks out. I'm trying to do better. I've had a lot going on recently, but I'm going to try to get a lot more out soon, so hopefully that happens. And again, check out my Instagram, MoonNetXO. You can talk to me there, see if I'm still alive, get little teasers to stuff that might get reviewed. I won't even say upcoming reviews anymore because I'd just be buying so much stuff that I'm like, this probably isn't going to get reviewed anytime soon. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully you have a wonderful day, and if somehow I don't end up making a video before Christmas, a wonderful Christmas. And hopefully your Christmas season goes better than Peter Parker's, where he sits in a sad apartment alone, with no one to love him, losing Zendaya, of all people, and one of the chillest bros someone could find. All while the guy from Whiplash just talks smack on him on an internet show. So yeah, peace.